Now, folks, it's easy, isn't it, to dismiss conversations around sex and gender as being nothing more than frivolous culture war issues that are exclusively the preserve of activists that spend far too much time on Twitter. And as David Cameron reportedly once said, too many tweets make a... I won't finish that sentence on the Lord's Day, but you get me drift. Too often, conversations around a tiny minority of people in our country and an even smaller, very vocal minority of that group that identify as transgender are dismissed as being unimportant to the majority. The demands for the right to self-determine your gender and change the sex on your birth certificate, the right to enter a woman's bathroom, the right to play as a biological male in women's sports, these things are dismissed as Twitter topics that don't impact millions of women out there in the real world. But folks, take the NHS. Only this week, we heard from the Daily Mail that official NHS advice about ovarian, womb and cervix cancers have removed the word women from their website, changing 3 sections explaining that these cancers are exclusively found in biological women, using resources to target messaging and services at men might make some feel included, but ultimately harm biological women seeking checks. So good news, right, in my view, that the Telegraph report today that the government is expected to announce that it's rewriting guidance on drafting legislation to make clear that gender-neutral language shouldn't replace terms such as woman and mother. But how did laws drafted in this way, such as the Ministerial and other Maternity Allowances Bill last year, get through in the first place? And why is the Ministry of Justice recording female sex offending statistics that include crimes by people born male, as well as exclusively male types of sexual crimes such as rape, penetration with a penis? Historically, men have actually committed 99% of sex offences. How on earth can we seek to protect women from these crimes when we don't even know how many male sex offenders are identifying as women? It's a serious, serious issue that feeds through much deeper than arguments on social media platforms like Twitter. We also have gender politics wreaking havoc in the education system, with both staff and pupils absolutely terrified to express a view. This weekend, The Times reports on a private school sixth form pupil who said she was hounded out of her school and treated like a heretic for questioning gender ideology. There's been an increase of several thousands% in girls being referred for life-changing transition and treatment in the past decade. Referrals often occur in clusters at certain schools, and we have to make sure that women are free to speak out and raise the alarm if they fear that children are at risk. Despite the threat, the demonisation and the abuse, some cultural titans like J.K. Rowling, for example, and a number of brave females in sport, champions of sport, have risked it all to actually speak up. They've lost friends, they've lost lucrative deals, fashionable accolades. But why would they bother if this was just a storm in a Twitter teacup? The government is obsessed with protecting oppressed groups, but gender-critical women and girls who are fighting for the well-being of their sex are now facing genuine oppression, and the government has been really slow to act. A Conservative government, in my view, with an 80-seat majority, should strip activism out of education, the NHS and elsewhere. Make clear in your instruction to civil servants and others that to suggest sex and gender are different isn't a transphobic notion. Teachers and pupils ought to not be bullied out of schools because you watched a video suggesting Arthur can be Martha at the click of your fingers. The fish rots from the head. It's time for the government to get a grip.